Hey everyone, I'm sure you must have heard that data scientists use a lot of different tools. I do too. And in fact, there are so many tools out there that sometimes it's difficult to understand what are the tools that data scientists use on a day-to-day basis. So I've tried to compile this and make it easier for you to find them in one place. I hope this video will help you understand what tools are essential to a data scientist, and I hope that this helps you get started with some of them. Let's dive right into the video.
So this is how a data scientist, or not how, this is rather what a data scientist interacts with on a daily basis. Sometimes in general, you're supposed to know a lot of these things. In the case of mathematics, linear algebra, calculus, probability, and statistics are, I think, basic required skills that you need to be able to build your statistical models or mathematical models on top of. Programming languages, a lot of data scientists work with Python, some of them work with R, SQL, some in MATLAB. I think Andrew and G's courses initially were in MATLAB. And this is not exhaustive. Programming languages, a lot of people work with a lot of different languages. I think I've seen some people work even with JavaScript, but not as a professional data scientist, but there is a lot of effort towards pushing models in JavaScript so that you can render it on the web. So maybe you are a web developer working with models, right? So different languages, databases, MySQL, PostgreSQL, MongoDB, Neo4j. All these are different kinds of databases that a data scientist should know how to interact with, either insert data, create tables, delete records, all of that, basically all the CRUD operations, create, read, update, delete operations. Different databases have different kinds of requirements, different kinds of functionalities. So there are relational databases, there are NoSQL database, MongoDB is a NoSQL database, Neo4j is a graph database. So there are different ways of representing data as well. And I think once you start looking deeper into it, you will see that these are like different thought processes or different ideas about how you want to represent your data. And a lot of this, like the most traditional and the most the most traditional and the most widely used database in the industry, databases in the industry are relational databases. MySQL, PostgreSQL, and SQLite is not really used in the industry, but yeah, it's used for prototyping. But then uh, the shift there has been a shift in the last few years towards using NoSQL databases and graph databases. So that's where you see databases like MongoDB and Neo4j, where you store data in a different format. And as a data scientist, you need to be able to move across databases and not be like a particular database specialist data scientist, and because that would be a disaster, right? If somebody tells you that tomorrow we're going to start using GraphDB and you've never used GraphDB in your life before, you say, no, I know only relational DB and I work only with relational DB. I don't think that is something that your management would appreciate and your colleagues would appreciate, because you have to adapt to the changing circumstances and not the other way around. So that is about databases. Data scientists also work with data visualization tools. So I put out BI tools over here. These are usually uh, tools used by data analysts, BI analysts, data scientists also use them. So Power BI, Tableau, ThoughtSpot, etc., etc. But I think a lot of data scientists do data visualizations, but not with these tools. They primarily use the programming language itself that they're working with. R has fantastic packages for visualization. Python also has a good ecosystem of visualization packages. So I think uh, data scientists would use those rather than these. But again, these are something that you can also work on, right? Like if it's something that makes your work easier and quicker, and you have licenses in your company, then why not? IDEs, uh, some of them, I mean, there's a lot of talk about what IDEs are best for doing data science. What should I actually use? Some people say they love their Vim environment and they will never come out of it. But there are a lot of different opinions on this. I've listed some of the most popular ones, like Jupyter Notebook or Jupyter Lab. Essentially, I think uh, this is a product by the Anaconda company, and used a lot by people who want to quickly prototype something, experiment something, and also write text along with some code. So Jupyter Notebook or Lab helps there. And there is Spider, which which is very similar to RStudio, which you'll see later, which is the Python version of RStudio. And Spider is also allows you to have a screen for interactive, what's it called? Yeah, interactive REPL. So you can do that also in Spider. PyCharm is a product by JetBrains. PyCharm is a full-fledged Python IDE, a lot of features in it, but it's also sort of heavy, like because it has a lot of features, it consumes a lot of RAM. So this is another IDE that you could use. RStudio is another, like I said, it's very similar to Spider. You have a lot of REPL, and a lot of people who work with R actually use RStudio and VS Code, which is also very popular amongst developers mainly. So these are the different kinds of IDs you would be interacting with if you were to work as a data scientist. And finally, I put web technologies. Your role wouldn't primarily be to work with web technology or develop web technologies, but then an understanding of web technologies will help you understand what is happening in the company and understand how you can help your colleagues do their jobs better, especially if you're working, for example, if you're working at a SaaS company, right, so software as a service company. Web technologies is what you sell, or front end, back end, or your web application is what you sell. So if you don't understand what is happening there, how are you going to contribute? I would recommend you to get an idea on how APIs work, how microservices are structured.
Thank you so much for watching. If you really like this video, please do give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.